People said her voice was too low. I'm like, Al, are we really doing this?
Do you really want her to talk like, I don't know, Minnie Mouse for an entire movie? Get out of here. If I had to listen to the way that Peach actually talks for more than 2 minutes, I would want.
Jesus,
that's a bit high. But okay, I don't know if I'm in on that much, but you know what?
Reel it back, my dude. Do you want to talk about something?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the HGO podcast. I'm one of your hosts today, Ethan, and joining me, as always, are my good friends, Hunter and Kyle. Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hello.
I'm doing just swell.
It's nice to be
But
here.
your webcam's not.
Your webcam's, like, I praised it last week. I'm already ready to start a war with it. I don't know what's happening.
I don't think it's a webcam problem. It's probably an internet connection problem.
Well, he's already doing it now, so hooray, get ready, guys, buckle in.
Yeah.
We're a minute into the episode, and Hunter's
No
webcam
one
is
look
already
at
out
Hunter's
sync.
side of the screen.
Yeah, and do you know what the best part is? I can't fix that, because your audio is in sync. It's just your webcam isn't, so who knows? Maybe I'll just get sick of you, and I'll just replace you with, like, I don't know, just put like a JPEG up or something on top of your face.
I don't know. I could send you the goofy winter themed avatar I'm using on Discord right now.
No, that's not funny enough. I need something funnier than that. But now, welcome back to the show, everybody. It's going to be a good one because not only is Hunter's webcam out of sync, also he's played a load of new games and he's going to be the one talking about them. So we chose a good one this week, boys. And me and Kyle, we played new games. Hell no. Well, no, Kyle's played an old game. I barely showed up. It's been a good week.
I played a game that was new to me.
And that's all that matters, Kyle. You go, champ. You go. Gold star for you. But now.
Oh, I'm sorry, mister. I'm going to play Persona 5 for the 4th time.
Dude, I've even given up on that. Let's be real here. We'll save that story to the end of the podcast because we'll get to that. That's a side of the topic that we'll talk about later. We don't want to ruin the engagement now for such fun things like the Callisto Protocol. But welcome back to the show, everybody. Every week we come to you and talk about everything that we love in the world of gaming. You can find us on podcast services everywhere. Just search Hot Games Only or go to youtube.com/Hot Games Only where you can look at our stupid faces either in or out of sync every single week. It's great. Are you ready, Hunter? You back in sync now?
I don't know. I hope.
You're close enough. That's close enough.
Close enough.
That's close enough for me. So I thought this week we would start off with some little fun facts because Spotify Wrapped. I didn't add this to the timestamps. I'm a naughty boy. But timestamps. The timestamps. Spotify Wrapped. There we go. Sorted. Right. Spotify Wrapped happened this week. So I thought we'd give you some fun I can't speak today. Fun facts about the podcast. Fun stamps, everybody. I can't speak. It's been a long week, guys. So you're going to have to forgive me if I'm a bit out of it this week. But I thought we'd give you some fun facts that I got from our Spotify Wrapped. I would put them on the screen, but I can't get it to work on my computer. So here we go. This week we created 4,000 minutes of content. No, this year, from January through to the end of October, because apparently in Spotify terms, a year is only 10 months because November and December never count. We created 4,395 minutes of new content this year, which is more than 98% of other creators in our category. So well done, everybody. We are in the top 2% of rambling about video games.
Yeah.
Could anyone guess what our most listened to episode is this year on podcast? I will give you a clue. It is not what you think it is.
That's nice and vague.
Yeah.
I gotta check the episodes.
Yeah, that's
first
what I'm doing.
to see what we've talked about this year.
Gosh, I know, right?
Because my first guess was the Genshin episode, and then my second guess was Xenoblade.
It's not the Genshin episode. I will give you a clue. It is one of the Xenoblade episodes, but it may not be the one you think it is.
Is it the spoiler
cast?
No, that's the one I thought you'd think it would be. It's not the spoiler cast.
First one that
I only did that because of your reverse psychology.
109.
Why wouldn't I guess the one that's also the most viewed on YouTube?
Because spoiler casts are usually our most popular on podcast services, including Spotify, our good friends at Spotify, and all the other podcast services that we love very much. Thank you. Yeah,
We
it is.
definitely know the
It
names
is,
of.
yeah, well, it's, you see, the podcast, fun fact for you, YouTube and audio listeners, you guys get different names to podcasts, by the way. You don't have the same podcast names where you go. So if you're sick of my shitty clickbait, half the time, if you go over to podcast services, you get less shitty clickbait because it doesn't really work over there. So there you go. You want that? So, for example, our Was Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Overrated episode, which the YouTube algorithm loved, Xenoblade fans didn't, was actually just called "Is Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Worth It?" Our review on podcasts, and that did was our best episode. Which, funny enough, get ready for this, on Spotify, got 816% more streams than your average episode. So there you go.
Damn.
It did really well on there as well. So thank you for listening to that. I appreciate it. In terms of countries, this year we were listened to in over 32 countries, which is pretty great. That's more than 2, which is more than I was expecting. So thank you for that. Could you guess our top 5? Let me get number 4 will surprise you. I sound like a BuzzFeed Fred here, but there you go. Like, number 4 will surprise you. I think you can guess 4 of them.
Where's the guy that sent us that email from?
It's not there. It's not Europe, because I know it was like Norway or Sweden. I don't know. I'm terrible with my geography is terrible. Okay,
same.
And my attention span is also awful. So you know. But you can guess 4 of the 5 countries. I don't know why number 4 is there. To be honest, I really don't. Go on, guess them. Come on, kids. Participate. Audience participation class.
New Zealand.
No. What are the 5?
Australia.
Hunter, I'll give you a clue. We live in them. There's 2 of them.
Okay, so that's England and America.
Yeah, well, it's the United Kingdom. That's 1 and 3.
Or...
What's number 2? Also close to home. In terms of your what? Oh, fucking
Canada.
Thank you.
Canada.
Right. Number 2. Number 1 is the US, then Canada, then the United Kingdom. What are 4 and 5?
Argentina.
No, you said New Zealand.
Damn.
That's close. There's actually a bigger place next to New Zealand, Hunter. I didn't know if you thought about that one.
I said Australia a second ago.
Oh, well, there you go. Australia's number 5.
Yeah.
You only get number 4. I'll tell you what number 4 is. It's Malaysia. I don't know who the fuck's listening in Malaysia, but
shout out.
I appreciate you. That's kind of sick, to be honest. The fact that I know Australians that listen to the show, so the fact that you're all being outdone by some guys in Malaysia, I like that. But saying that,
or some people using a VPN, one or the other.
Oh yeah, true. I did not think about that. You probably are crafty little people, and all I'm saying is, what are you hiding? What are you hiding? Oh, why are you hiding us? Why are we in that same bin? That's what I want to know.
The government will find you regardless of your VPN.
Yeah. But there you go. They gave listeners personalities based on their podcast. Like they did with us, where it was like, you're like a 3 thinker, or you're a lonely fucking sad bastard that Spotify does for your regular folks.
Oh yeah.
I think mine was something, I don't remember what mine was. It was something like timeless romantic, and I just laughed maniacally as I saw that, because I was like, you're funny. But this didn't surprise me in the second. Our audience is most like our listeners' podcast personality is the enthusiast. I'm really shocked about this. Which describe your listeners are super fans. When their favorite podcast releases a new episode, they're among the first to know. So basically, you listen a lot to our show, and you listen to it when it comes out. So we appreciate that. That's pretty epic. Thank you for that one. Our podcast gained a lot of things this year. So we got over 164% new followers on Spotify, which is pretty cool. Thank you. Over 112% increased amount in streams, and over 120% hours. So we actually did more hours of content in the same time frame, which is interesting. Then, is there anything else that I need to say? No, not really. And that's only 45 episodes, because it doesn't count the other ones. It doesn't count last year's November and December. It doesn't count this year's November or December. So 45 episodes. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. And some fun little facts. And then it does have like a little thing that I forgot to post on Twitter that I probably will do after this episode goes live. So thank you for all that. And obviously Spotify's not even our... Well, it is. I think Spotify's almost listened to podcast service. But it's not like It's not that. It's not like a heavy lifter. It's not like it's over 60%, something like that. I think it's like 30 or something like that. So there's plenty of you on other podcast services. Unfortunately for us, we don't get a Apple Music, Apple Podcast Wrapped or whatever. We just get you exist. That's it. That's all we get from those stats. So thank you for that.
Congrats.
Yeah. I was actually trying to find here, but they've changed the way Anchor works. Yeah, so Spotify is 53%, and then Apple Podcasts, and then there's a load of other smaller ones. So we appreciate it. Thank you very much for all the support. And that's out of the way. There you go. Where do you listen to? Let us know. Because I always am interested in that. Because I hear I see some like Podcast Addict and other some little ones where I'm like, I didn't even know we were on there. Let alone that people listen on there. So if you do, let us know where you listen to. So I'm always curious. And that's that. Anyway, Hunter, I've given your webcam
Video
like the
games.
biggest leeway I can possibly give to get back in fucking sync. It's time to talk about the Callisto Protocol. For better or worse, it's Callisto time. So this is a game that's just come out. I don't know what's the developer called. I know it's Glenn Schofield.
Striking Distance is the studio name.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Glenn
Striking
Schofield's known
Distance
for
Studios.
creating Dead Space.
Yes.
Dead Space 2. Then he went over and worked on Call of Duty for a while. I know that much. He did Modern Warfare 3, Advanced Warfare, World War 2, and then left to make Striking Distance. And that's his. I think he started on a Barbie game. That's my favorite.
Person would do. He would leave the Activision mine.
Yeah, would go and make a studio with the PUBG people for some reason and make that a horror game, because why not? So here we are.
He worked on Gex 3D and Gex 3.
What a genius! Nice. What a beautiful mind.
I just pulled up his Wikipedia page.
There you go. What a beautiful mind. Well, this game's interesting, right? Because I feel like we've seen this game so many times, and we were like, this game's going to be great. I'm sure it's going to be a fun time. And then the reviews come out, and I'm like, oh, this is a bigger mixed bag than I thought it would be. I was like, okay, this is interesting. So tell me, Hunter, let's talk about it. How much have you played a Callisto Protocol, and how are you feeling?
I'd say I'm a little over halfway through it, and I am enjoying it so far. I like it quite a bit at the moment. I can see why it would I don't know, I can see why there are some things about it that would irk people. This melee combat system that they have definitely isn't something for everybody, because it is unlike anything else I've played in a horror game.
Mm-hmm.
So basically the way it is like you've got a crowbar or a stun baton later that you smack people with, and when guys approach you, the monsters, and they go to swing at you, you dodge like left or right, like it's Punch Out or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they stop, and then when they start backing off is when you move into attack. It's not timing based or anything. Pretty much you could hold your analog stick in a direction as someone approaches you, and you'd pretty much be safe as long as you remember to switch it the other way. Because they explained this when they were doing the tutorial, that like for some reason dodging the same way more than once will get you got, and dodging like right, left, right, or whatever is how to go. I don't know why. It doesn't even seem like it matters which direction you dodge when the initial attack happens. You just can't go the same way twice. It's a little weird. It took some getting used to, but now I've gotten used to it, and I think it's, I don't know, it's interesting to say the least. Yeah, other things about the combat in this game is that it uses the environment around the combat encounters pretty well. Like, you get the telekinesis glove pretty after a little while, and I've been using that. I've been using that a whole lot more than I used the telekinesis in Dead Space, where I would just kind of use that to chuck some things at some dudes at the beginning. I've been using this to like straight up just eliminate people that are monsters that are a bigger nuisance. Like There's this one monster that it has like 2 mouths and will spit stuff at you, and it's bigger and takes more hits. So constantly when I see those, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take you and I'm gonna throw you into the spikes because you're a bit more of a hassle. So I think it's good at using the environment like that. Um, and even as far as when you get the guns, I haven't actually used the guns to like shoot things very much, as in like opening with that, because when you
Put that
get
on the
them,
box art, bro. Put that on the fucking cover. I haven't used the guns to, shoot things. Like,
so what I mean is I never
I
opened the
don't think you're
fight
using
by
the gun right,
shooting.
Hunter.
we've just played catch with
Dude,
them,
you said
We're
play
just
Horizon with
like,
the spear. Don't tell me how you use shooting wrong. Anyway, what I meant was I don't start the fight shooting things because that doesn't seem to be very efficient. When you are doing your melee attacks, the reticle will pop up while you're in the middle of that, and if you push the aim button, you'll pretty much be able to snap to the enemy and shoot them a couple times for free, essentially. So even the guns are integrated kind of into the melee combat, so I haven't really felt like I need to just popping off people with the handgun or whatever. I tried to do that like once right after I got it. Like I encountered one of those stupid spitter guys, and what I did basically fell back on the old Dead Space instinct where it is shoot them in the leg until it falls off. And that did not work for me. I kneecapped the jerk like 3 times and he just kept attacking me, and I was like, oh, I'm dead. So I can see how this system would irk some people because um it's not the greatest when you're fighting more than one thing and you're trying to like dodge, because things will just come in and swipe at you anyway, and also they cheap shot you coming out of killing things, so that's not cool. But I've managed to mitigate that a lot. The enemies also
mm,
seem to hurt themselves, so I just try to be kind of aware of where I'm setting them up to be attacking me from. But I can see how it would annoy people. Um,
I feel like that's where it's the make or break point for this game from everything that I've been seeing from all the reviews that I've read. Not played the game myself. I have bought it. Um, not for me to play. I've also just realised. I hope my dad's not listening to this. Ignore that. I hope you're not listening. He does know about the podcast. If you heard that, no.
If you
But
heard that, you didn't hear that.
you didn't hear that. But it has been kind of the make or break point of this game has been the combat system. Because to many, that's the thing that people are liking or they're not liking. Some people like how it's kind of almost kind of brawl really, and how it's very weirdly controlled. It's like with the analog stick. It's very
yeah, you just
bizarre
pick a
way of
direction with
approaching
the
it.
analog stick. It's weird for sure, but
It's like playing
also
fucking Skyward
like
Sword on Switch. Like
it's
they
so
found
the
that
thing
shit
that's
to the
weird
analog.
to me about this is that like this is kind of the curve with every horror game still though. Like you're never set at the beginning. You always have to kind of get used to the weird restrictions that these games put on you because they don't want you to be able to do everything.
Mm,
Like even in like Dead Space or Resident Evil, you have to get used to the issues. Like even Resident Evil 2 remake, controls in a way that a more traditional like horror or third person shooter would, where everything makes sense. You can aim and you can move at the same time, all that stuff. They still do something with it to where they manage to make it claustrophobic, and you still get overwhelmed a lot if you're not like on it.
Mm.
So
mhm.
like it's a similar curve, and I guess some people just got annoyed with this one a little sooner because
And I
it's
think it's just
new, I
because I
guess.
feel like a lot of people when they were buying this game and they got into it, they they saw it basically this is Glenn Schofield's attempt at a spiritual successor to Dead Space. And I think people, especially because the only people that have been making AAA horror games at the moment have been Capcom with Resident Evil. It's like we've not had true, like it's coming back now. Obviously, we've got the Dead Space remake. We've got Silent Hill around the corner eventually, right? You've got all this stuff that's coming, but for a while, it's just been Resident Evil's been back, So when Glenn Schofield comes back and he's like, "Look at what we're doing. We're doing a spiritual successor to Dead Space." It's almost the ukulele effect where people are expecting you've swapped. It's like, yeah, it's a spiritual successor, but when really they're just booting that up and going, "I want my Dead Space. This needs to be exactly Dead Space, but more of it, and I'm more of that, please." So when they do make certain
Yeah.
changes where, the combat system's a bit different with using the analog stick and it's a bit janky, it's the same way that people are like, hang on, I bought ukulele and I was expecting a Banjo-Kazooie game. Why the fuck is there all this random garbo in here? It's like, it's one of those same things.
Yeah,
And they can be right or wrong. It's like...
the analogy I think I would put on this game is probably it's similar in a way to The Evil Within, as far as horror games with, a developer with a legacy behind them, but it's still different in a lot of ways, and in ways that some people weren't really vibing with as much, because people were like, "Oh, Evil Within's going to be the Resident Evil 4 sequel that we never got," and a good Resident Evil 4 sequel that we never got. And to some people it was, and to some other people it fell a little flat. Like, honestly, this game, it in very superficial ways is similar to Dead Space, as far as it's about, like, it's a sci-fi horror game made by Glenn Schofield, but it's more of an action horror game than it is a survival horror game. For example, like, that melee combat system is a lot of what the fighting hinges on. So, like, supplies haven't really been an issue for me while I've been playing, because I am not using a whole lot of anything, because most of what I'm doing is beating things to death. I've had pretty much since I've been picking up health items, I've had at least 3 of them on hand the whole time I've been playing. I've never really been strapped for ammo. Uh, it's so, like, it's similar in, like, aesthetics and all that, but I don't really think it's that much like Dead Space, aside from both being sci-fi and both being made by the same people. And Callisto Protocol kind of took the original concept for Dead Space and made it into a game. As far as originally, before they settled on a spaceship, they wanted, like, a moon prison to be the setting for the game, so it was kind of cool to see that that's what they were doing with this game.
So it's a very, like I say, it's a very interesting game to me, because it's like, let's not talk about... You've been playing it on PS5, which, as far as we're aware,
Sure have.
is the best version of the game to play.
Oh, cool.
The Xbox version has a ton of issues, and the PC version is practically unplayable. So I love when that happens. It's Arkham Knight all over again. It's really bad. Like, it's practically unplayable.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. So obviously some of that hate is justified. It's interesting though, because it's like, you seem to be enjoying it. At least as far as I'm aware.
I like it. It's like, yeah, I enjoy it. Like, coming up to what it maybe isn't what I was expecting, because, like, yeah, on paper I was thinking this would be like a modern Dead Space game. It became very clear to me that that's not what it was pretty early on. So I'm like, okay, fine, that's cool. We'll just see what this is now.
Yeah.
And I'm apparently just able to let that go easier than some other people are.
No.
I'm proud of you, man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to let that go for a while.
I mean,
I know what I am.
oh,
I'm
okay.
the guy that uses the spear in Horizon.
Bunga bunga.
One thing I will say about this game, though, is enemy designs. So far, I'm left wanting more on that department.
Okay.
Like, the necromorphs in Dead Space were really cool. As far as, like, the cool body horror stuff that happened, they were very intimidating. They have a name that you'd run away from. The regular, like, space zombie guys that you're fighting in this game, they look like the Doom schmucks that I'm just ripping the heads off of in that game. They're not very intimidating. I came across a new monster that was kind of cool looking. They function pretty similarly to, I guess, the Lickers in Resident Evil, where they, like, crawl up walls and stuff and will attack you, but their design is kind of neat. I think I think there's probably going to be a couple of other things that they hinted at that will be cool. But so far, it's just been kind of the regular Doom goons, the thing with two mouths that spits at you. That was in the
The trailer.
Jeff. Yeah, that was in the Jeff Keighley trailer where it bit off his head. Um, uh, and yeah, so far that's it. And it's not like enemy variety in horror games doesn't matter a whole lot because hopefully they'll be short enough to where it's not that tedious to do this a whole lot, you know? Like even Resident Evil 2, yeah, it was standard zombies, the lickers, and then Mr. X,
Mr. X.
plus a couple of boss fights maybe, and that was it.
It's
So
interesting.
it's not like
Because most horror games, I've seen it I've seen people complaining about the length of this game as well, and I'm like, I don't understand how horror fans can continue to be pissed off at lengths of horror games when I swear every horror game on the planet is usually around the 6 to 10 hour mark, and people are sitting here with this game
that's
sitting
about the
roughly
right
between
length.
7 to 8. I think this game is, and I think people are sitting there going, "Is that it?" And I'm like, have we been here before? Like, I swear we do this every time, guys. Like, Resident Evil 8 was roughly about like 6-8 hours. So was like,
it wasn't long.
so was Resi 7. So was the 2 and
The
3.
three
I mean,
remake.
3 remake was like a half an hour. You could do that on a fucking lunch break. Let's be real with the
The three
Resi
was
3.
like
Legit.
But-
it was so short, dude.
Yeah, but it just always baffles me when people complain about lengths of horror games, and I'm like, you're kind of signing up for that because the games that
Yeah.
have horror quote unquote elements that are not that aren't simply aren't horror games. Like Last of Us Part 2 goes
Yeah.
on for 6 million years, but it isn't scary. It has a couple of jump scares, but that's about
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah, I don't care how many people try to credit The Last of Us for being a horror game. It isn't. You
Mhm.
people are just weak of spine.
It's true. The show will be scarier than the actual video game, and I'll happily admit that.
Yeah.
I feel like it's crazy. It's crazy. So
But yeah, it's like what you sign up for. Like Resident Evil 4 is probably the longest horror game I've played in a while, and that was still only like maybe 12,
12.
15
Yeah.
if you're being slow.
and I wouldn't be surprised if it'll be interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if the remake kind of would be shorter. I genuinely would not be
It
shocked
might be.
because you know what they've been
Trim
doing
the fat.
Longer, who
from the
knows?
fat. Yeah, but it's like you shouldn't define a horror experience by the length of it because fuck me.
Yeah, it should be
Yeah.
it should be more about how if the horror game is around long enough to feel like it's running long, that's a problem.
Well, you can also
Resident
you can
Evil
very
Code
easily
Veronica is a
yeah.
great example of that.
I also
you
feel
can
like
very
if it
much
goes
easily-
too
I'm, like,
long, it'll
2
just get
hours sooner.
tiring after a while.
You'll acclimate to your surroundings where you'll eventually be like, it's like, I've kind of gotten used to the tricks that this moon prison has to offer here. So you'll be like, the fear kind of eventually will start to kind of ease back because even though, yes, it's still going, you're kind of used to the horror prison. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, the fear will just turn to annoyance.
And
more than
then you
anything,
all just
probably.
become like me, and we don't need a whole lot of me running around.
Yeah, because he's a fucking nutter. He just you can't scare Hunter. That just doesn't happen. But anyway, Hunter. So it's interesting. A lot of people mixed messages on this game. So far, from your experience of 5 hours or whatever you've been playing, would you recommend it?
Yeah, I would. If you like horror games, I think it's worth checking out if you're interested in. There's definitely nothing I would say that you should turn away from. This combat system is different and you might not vibe with it, but I still think it's worth giving a shot. If you were already fascinated by the game, you know?
And maybe don't play it on PC. Maybe this is just hey, if you have a PS5, go ahead and play it. And if you don't have a
Now's your time.
PS5, unlucky. Hopefully they patch the Xbox version soon.
If you don't have one of those, the Dead Space remake will be out in a month, and that'll probably be what you were hoping this would be anyway.
there's
Dead
plenty
Space.
there's plenty of horror coming, dude. There's plenty of games coming. I forgot that there were so many fucking video games coming soon. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, was looking at January and I was like, oh god, yeah, Forspoken's a video game. I'm like, oh god,
It
I
sure
forgot
is.
about.
I don't
Is that a
remember if
motherfucking
that was
dragon?
supposed to still come out in January, or if it got pushed.
No, Forspoken's still locked in.
Oh, good for them.
And then Persona. And then, February's got a load of shit, 'cause February always does. It's the new fucking game month, February, and I don't like that. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
And Fire Emblem as well. I forgot about Fire Emblem in January.
Fire
Oh,
Emblem,
God.
yeah.
You're going to make me force pick that one up? I'll actually try and play that one if I do this time. I'm not doing what I did last time.
Unlucky Fire Emblem. It's another time where other things around it have prevented me from starting this series.
I mean, from the looks of Engage, and I'm sorry, Fire Emblem fans, but from the looks of Engage doesn't really look like one that you want to really start with. I feel like
No, it doesn't.
I don't know what it is about it, but to me, it just screams like it's such a nonsense game where it's just like, maybe I should just go back and play Three Houses again, because people complained about Three Houses, but at least it had a fucking story of its own that isn't just let's bring back characters from the past games.
Dude, Fire Emblem's
maybe
just
I shouldn't
living on
start with
fan
that
service
one,
at this
since,
point.
none of those characters mean anything to me.
Yeah, but there's a difference, Cal, between having characters that people like, a la Three Houses, and just bringing back characters that people liked for the sake of it for this new one, and have Pepsi-looking fucking protagonist come around.
Dude, I love Toothpaste Sean.
Yeah, it's fucking Colgate Andy over there. Yeah, Jesus, who asked for him? Anyway, we're gonna give you a break, Hunter. Give you a slight break. We'll talk about Bloodborne with Kyle for a bit. So if you were here, if you don't want to hear us talk about Bloodborne for the 60 millionth time, both on podcasts and YouTube, fair enough. There's timestamps below if you want to skip to Plague Tale Requiem.
But also, go play Bloodborne. It's good and free to download on PS Plus.
It is. If you have a PS5, you can go and get it as part of the what's it called, PS Plus collection. I can't remember.
If you have a PS4, you can get it free.
Just ask a friend with a PS5 to download it for you.
No,
wait, does the PS5?
Oh, is it on Extra as well? It's on Extra as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just available.
It's on Extra.
Yeah,
or if you don't want Extra, just go on PS5. What anyway?
Is that still a thing?
What, the PS Plus collection?
The PS Plus thing.
Yeah.
I just didn't know. I haven't thought about it
it's still
forever since I tagged all that stuff when I got
Persona
it.
5 got removed from it, but all the others are still there.
Yeah,
I don't know why
I could still play Final Fantasy 15 if I wanted to.
Yeah, lucky
I don't, but I could.
I uninstalled that from my PS5 today because it was on my external.
Oh, hell yeah.
My external was acting up because I was playing PS4 games and things weren't loading properly, and I was like, maybe it's because the hard drive's too full, so the first thing that went was Final Fantasy 15. I was like, well, I'm never going to play you, let's be real, goodbye. I was like...
Road trip game with the
boys.
boys.
I was just like, I was always going to give it a chance, but it's like, 16's out next year, and Forspoken, and potentially 7 Remake Part 2.
That's a lot of Square Enix.
And I'm like... Yeah, but that's enough Final Fantasy. I'm like, okay, I'm trying the next mainline entry, and there might be a 7 within the following year after that. I'm like, I'm not going to play that. I didn't manage to play another Yakuza game this year. I'm not going to play like 3 Final Fantasies in the span of a year. Hell no. Kingdom Hearts might be still in 2024 as well. You never know. Fuck me. Kill me. No.
Not be.
Stay away, Nomura. Fuck off.
We're not ready yet.
Magic in the making. Anyway. Bloodborne, baby. Anyways, you finally played it after being bullied into it yet again.
I'm bullied. I wasn't being bullied.
He just listened to us talk about how much we like it for a year, and he got persuaded.
Yeah.
It's interesting, though, because Cal did the same thing.
To try it twice.
Cal did the same thing that everybody that I know who has ever played Bloodborne has always done, where I thought that it was just me being a fucking... little picky bastard, where I played the first hour of Bloodborne and went, this shit sucks, why do I keep dying, close the game, don't touch it again.
Yeah.
But then Cal did the exact same thing.
I sure did.
I know a couple of friends who also did the exact same thing. I'm just like, is this what people do when they try a FromSoft game for the first time? Is play it for an hour, goes, this shit poo-poo, run away, come back in 3 months and then try again? Like, what is this? It's weird. But anyway, you finally did it. You did all of it.
I did it. I did. And you bullied me into getting the true ending.
Oh, did you actually go and get it?
Oh,
nice.
I did.
Congrats.
I did. That final boss was
the big
a joke.
hug. Yeah, you got the big hug from the big moon.
Oh,
demon.
yeah. The moon presence is so easy.
Dude. Legit, after Gurman, I'm like, okay. I don't know if I'm ready for this, whatever this final boss is. And I almost got it first try. And I'm just like, okay. Let me die and get all my shit back, and okay, we're good.
If it makes you feel any better, Kyle, Elden Ring's final boss is fucking bullshit. So there you go.
Oh, goody.
It's also a twofer, and it's bullshit.
Yeah.
The only good
Shame I'll
thing that
never
I
play
knew,
That's what you think.
fellow tarnished. It'd be a good excuse for Hunter to finally fucking get back into it as well. You could just go ride
Hunter,
around together.
Hunter, we can co-op
Yeah,
it.
I could
Let's
help
go.
you.
But yeah, you played it 20 hours. How did you feel?
Honestly, the game is absolutely fantastic. I love just about the entirety of this video game once I got past the opening. Almost the entirety of the game, Hunter.
Almost.
Almost the entirety of the game. No, Bloodborne's sick. And I even now understand what you were talking about when you played it, Ethan. Really is like a really good first Soulsborne game to play. And
Oh,
it
definitely.
feels like it hits the difficulty curve just right.
Yeah, because it's like, I feel like it's, from what I've played so far, I feel like the reason it's a good entry point is because the problem with Dark Souls, to me anyway, basic Dark Souls, basic bitch Dark Souls, not Bloodborne or Sekiro, basic bitch Dark Souls and Elden Ring, is they kind of almost require you to play it passively. And what I mean by that is it's a lot of sitting back, watching moves, holding shields up, waiting for 1 to 3 seconds of wacky time, hit them twice, do this for 20 minutes. And I just don't like it. Whereas Bloodborne just turns the aggro shit up to 11, where bosses don't leave you alone for a second, but also the one thing that I love, which
Just
I don't
let up the gas.
The one thing that I love from Bloodborne, which I don't understand why they never brought it fucking back, is you take damage, there's a period of time where if you start beating the shit out of them, you can get your health back. Why is this not in other Souls games? It would make them so much more fun to fucking play. I don't get it.
The parry system is amazing too.
Mm-hmm. Luckily that shit does carry on into the future
that
because
stuff
of
keeps coming
Sekiro
back.
and Elden Ring. So luckily that shit does come back. But God, where's
And
the aggression?
that's like baked into Sekiro's combat system, from what I understand.
Yeah, it's also in Elden Rings as well,
Mhm.
which is nice. Although Elden Ring has its own problems, that game's busted.
Yeah.
You can make that game trivially easily if you want. You can just. I still think Magic breaks that game to fucking hell and back. You can literally just nuke someone from a million miles away. It's great fun. But no. What were your highlights then, Kyle? What were your highlights?
Highlights? Definitely just beating the cleric beast for the first time. I know that's the first boss of the game, but man, at that point, that's when Bloodborne finally clicked with me, and I'm just like, I get it. I get why people like these Souls games now.
I
Just
understand.
My
Your
third
eyes have
eye was
finally
opened. It's like, oh, this is why people say these things are good.
Yeah.
It's not just because it's bullshit hard, but also it's rewarding when you do something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And really, the same thing could be said for like all the bosses, except the Shadows of Yharnam. I didn't feel anything when I beat those things.
The Backstreet Boys are great. I love the Backstreet Boys. They're great.
Did you do the castle?
I did do the castle. That boss sucked, but I did it on my own. That boss was so shit, dude.
I wouldn't have been able to come and help you in a timely fashion because my save file's at the beginning of New Game Plus, unfortunately. So you
luckily
been
mine was,
there, like,
so I could have helped
2
him, but I was
hours.
asleep.
Yeah.
Hunter did help me because I played that game like I was on some kind of review embargo where I was like, no, I'm giving it a week of my life. Hunter, come in here and help me. I don't care. This game's not getting my time.
Yeah, but Logarius sucks. He's one of the only bosses from like the main game that I fought for like over an hour.
Yeah.
I did fight him for over an hour and I still couldn't fucking hack it. I was like, enough of this shit. Goodbye.
I ended up getting him into like a little loop where I was just parrying. I got him to do his like normal physical swing, and I was able to get him into like a parry loop.
That's how I finally killed him. Was he started doing that after he started like his? Because what is it, stage 2 when he starts being a magic casting?
Yeah,
tool?
where he just starts going all over the fucking place.
Yeah, I managed to get him to stop that, and that's how I finally killed him.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. Eventually, he broke out of the loop for me, and it just turned into a scramble.
Oh, I love it when it just
Lot of
devolves
blood
into
vials.
flailing limbs and hope. That's how I killed Ebrietus or whatever that one was called, the tentacle monster over in the. I forget how you get there. You fight the stupid blue guys who all like legion you. At
Yeah.
the,
I think I
Yeah.
missed that one.
oh,
I don't remember.
Oh yeah, you didn't do not the living failures because that's the DLC one. What's it called? The Celestial.
the celestial.
Is it
Is it just
Emissary
celestial beings?
or Celestial
The
Beings?
celestial beings? Yeah, it's one of
Something
those.
like
I don't
that.
remember.
I don't
The
know.
It's
stupid
been
blue
forever.
jelly guys.
Yeah, the
You would have
jelly boys.
encountered them if you took a wrong turn in the forest.
You know, as you do. I hate when you
It's
take a wrong
very
turn
easy
in
to
the
take a
forest and
wrong
you get
turn
some
in the
jelly guys.
forest, man.
True. That
Why
place
don't you
is
just
like a
follow
maze.
the lanterns.
I did not know that. Someone told me that. I watched a Bloodborne video and someone mentioned that, and I was like, for fuck's sake, why am I so fucking brain dead? Like, genuinely, like, there's something about me when those games
Listen.
it just doesn't happen.
Sometimes you're just fighting things. You just realize that oh, hey, I'm alive. And you
Mhm.
don't quite get your bearings back yet, you know?
I
And
just
then
want you
I
to
get
know.
that.
I just
and
want
then
you
I
to
walked
know
into the blue
it is
guys.
called the Celestial Emissary. Give Ethan a fucking pat on the back. He's a gamer. He remembers.
A
Thank you.
name.
I remember the name, and it was of a big blue alien in Bloodborne. It wasn't an actual character, but you know,
Feels bad for Varl.
poor Vol. And, to be fair, I can remember Vol's name now. The fucker I keep forgetting is the other friend now, the drug Errand. Is that
Errand?
his name? Yeah, I keep forgetting
Yeah.
him. Yeah. Poor Horizon. I'll never remember those names. Horizon 3 will come out, and I'll be like, who the fuck are you again?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, aside from the boss, I thought that Canehurst Castle is like my favorite area in the game.
That was a really cool area.
It's like the closest thing we'll ever get to a new Castlevania.
But now,
And
you
it
never
was
know.
made by FromSoft.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
It's all fun.
no, a lot of the areas in this game are pretty cool too. Game itself is kind of like just like aesthetically really gross and dingy. So that took a while for
so
my brain
cool,
to become
man.
accustomed to.
All the buildings are super pointy.
They really
Everyone's
are.
wearing sweet coats. I love
The
it.
coats are pretty sweet. And on a personal note, there was only one point in the game where I hit my breaking point and had to stop playing. And that was when the game introduced a giant spider with a human face.
Oh,
Patches.
fucking Patches?
And I said, nope. I noped out of the game so quickly.
That's
Dude,
quite funny,
yeah.
to be honest.
Dude,
Because Patches is
I'm
in
not
all
a
the
fan.
games. Not as a spider in all the games, but he's in
Oh,
all of
thank
them,
God.
bars Dark Souls 2, I think. And maybe Sekiro. I don't know if he's in Sekiro.
I don't know.
But he's in all the
But
other ones.
I found him in Elden Ring when I was playing that. In the little
Oh, yeah,
bit
I
of time
found him in
spent.
Elden
I was like,
Ring.
yo, Patches, what's up?
He's a little shit.
I
Fucking hate
hated him.
Yeah, he
Patches.
is.
Hated him. Did not like his vibes.
But yeah.
Did you
I don't
just
know.
use the cleaver the whole time? Like, or
Basically,
did you
yeah.
experiment? No, I was just
I tried
curious.
using a couple other weapons. The Kirk hammer, I think it was, and
Oh, yeah.
one of the swords you can buy. But none of them were hitting me like the saw cleaver was.
None of them were hitting the sweet spot.
Nah. Just
Yeah.
saw cleaver and silver pistol all the way through. Never switched off of default Derek.
That's what
You
I
don't
did.
need to.
That's what I did. It was great.
It's a really good way to design your weapons and stuff. Is that it's just how you want to play versus what's better to do. Because
Yeah.
when I eventually stuck or kept playing the game, I was using the cane that turned into the whip because that was just really cool. And eventually, I got the swords that turned into the double swords.
Ooh. Double
And then-
swords.
And then when I played the DLC, I got the other swords that turned into double swords.
Did you ever find the whirligig saw?
Yeah, it's cool. I love that shit.
Yeah.
That shit did look cool.
Yeah.
But no, I'm glad that you finally gave it a try.
So am I, dude. Honestly, because I never had any plans to play a Soulsborne game.
Mhm.
and I probably won't play many of them going forward. Like I told my friend about this, I'm like, I might give Sekiro a try if it ever wants to be on sale for less than half of what
Never
it
will
is
be.
asking for. It won't be, but you know, if I ever get the chance to do that, then I'll try it out. But other than that, like,
And when you play Elden
if this
Ring,
is the only Soulsborne game I play, then like, you know, it's a good one to start and end on.
but no,
Yeah.
you gotta play all of them. That's the thing.
don't-
You're just gonna keep losing the fantasy draft, and I'm just gonna keep forcing you to play FromSoft games. That's how it's gonna work.
Yeah.
But Ethan, Dark Souls 2 smells.
Oh, but right,
From
here's
what
the
I
thing.
understand.
Yeah, people don't like Dark Souls 2, but I feel like I'm eventually gonna play Dark Souls 2, and I'm gonna love Dark Souls 2, and it's gonna be great. I feel like it's gonna be one of those things where I'm just like, I love bad games, so I'll just go in and be like, hell yes, this is my time to be alive. I love it. But no, glad you enjoyed it. Can't wait for you to play Elden Ring next year.
Thank you.
When we force you
Can't wait
to.
for Hunter to join me.
It'll be
How
fun.
much? How many?
Well, we said
How many
it's either
players
Elden
is
Ring-
co-op in that?
2, I think. It's only 2 player
Aw,
co-op,
lame.
unfortunately. Yeah.
Lame.
And Hunter's not finished, so it'd only be fair if Hunter joined in.
It's true. Hunter should suffer with me for getting second.
I mean, I liked it, and we don't know that I've got second yet.
I don't
so-
have an opinion of it yet.
Oh, I think the only reason you won't like it is because the thing you won't like is it being open world. You won't want the
Yeah.
combat's good, like because to me it's like
Yeah.
I've always thought that like I've always been surprised that you never tried FromSoft games sooner because as someone like you who likes memorizing patterns and learning like Kingdom Hearts bosses and shit like that, I thought that something like this would be up your
Someone
fucking
likes
alley
Kingdom
of
Hearts.
unga bunga,
See-
learn the pattern, deal the
See,
damage.
the thing
on the
is,
boss.
like, I never played it because the games just looked really boring. Just seeing it passively, not really understanding how they work. I'm just like, okay, this is just wait around and then dodge roll or put up a shield.
Mm-hmm.
But actually playing them, you're just like, okay, there's you have to stay alert. No falling asleep at the wheel here.
They definitely are a different kind of game playing than they are
Yeah.
watching. And that's what they are very interesting. But hey. There you go. Anyway, that's enough fun. It's time for us to go sit back in a corner, Cal, because it's Hunter's time to talk about more video games.
Oh,
Do
what else
they
did Hunter
smell-
do this week?
Hunter,
I
what
played
did you do?
Plague Tale Requiem over
Oh,
my little
yeah.
holiday break. Man, I really like this game.
Do you?
I beat it the other day, and I was like, "Oh, that was real good." Like,
Does it deserve to be Game of the Year contender?
yes, I like it a
Okay.
lot, man.
Fair enough.
Like I thought Innocence was good. I played
Mhm.
Innocence back in 2020. It came out in 2019. I'd say if I'm retroactively ranking games that I played in 2019, it's in like the top 5, at least top 10.
I swear only
of
5
those,
games came
so-
out in 2019, bro. I swear.
I played at least 10 games from
I
2019.
swear, like it was
so-
like Luigi's Mansion 3.
That's not even one of the ones I played in 2019. So
It was like Luigi's Mansion 3 and
Astral Chain.
Astral
Death
Chain,
Stranding,
Death Stranding,
Devil May Cry,
Cry.
Resident Evil 2, Kingdom Hearts 3, AI: The Somnium Files,
Kingdom Hearts.
Oh,
3.
Resi
Days
2,
Gone.
Sekiro. Oh, Untitled Goose Game.
Oh, hell
Untitled
yeah.
Goose
Take
Game.
it back. Great year for games.
Yoshi's Crafted World.
Take it back.
Ooh.
Awful year for fucking video games. That game's
Mario
so
Maker
bad.
2. Kingdom Hearts 3.
Kingdom Hearts 3. What a fucking banger, bro. What a banger. Can't wait for Kingdom Hearts 4. Stay away no more. Thank you. Anyway.
Tetris 99 came out that year.
Oh,
good.
yeah, it did.
Fucking burn that year. Anyway, Hunter, talk about Plague Tale Requiem for the PlayStation 4, 5, Series X, Xbox One, PC.
I thought you were just gonna keep counting. 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh, yeah. Plague Tale it manages to improve upon the gameplay. For anyone who didn't play the first game or doesn't
I
know what
didn't.
this one's about, it's like
I didn't.
it's imagine all those PlayStation exclusive games where you can constantly be stealthy or go in loud, except they remove your ability to go in loud. So it just doubles down on all the stealth things and environmental puzzles. That's essentially what a Plague Tale game is like as far as what you're doing. It's be stealthy and then solve puzzles with the environment, sometimes both concurrently. Um, this one does a really good job at not resetting you back to brain dead stupid throw the rock at the thing to make the guard go, oh, what's this, and then just run away for more than the first 10 minutes. It manages to put you more, not like right at the end of as far as gameplay complexity was in the first game, but like towards the middle, so that things have room to ramp up because they add in other mechanics. Like eventually you can pick up knives that function pretty much like a shiv would in The Last of Us, where if someone comes at you, you can stab them for a
Sorry, it was just really funny the way you said that. It's like, you can pick up a knife that, works like a shiv. I'm like, what, a knife? Yeah, that's cool. Thank you for that one. Just the way you said it.
It's a knife.
I'm like, no.
the floor is made of floor.
Knife works like a knife. You can stab it, like a knife. Like,
you can stab someone for a
everyone
one-time
knows Neil
usage
Druckmann
that will kill
invented the
them.
knife, bro. He invented that shit. Anyway, sorry. Carry on. I'm just being an arsehole. Carry on.
And eventually you can get a crossbow that will kill most people in one shot as well. So, and that does more for the environmental puzzles as far as things you can do and solving that you can. What's up?
I'm just
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm just losing it. It's like again, it was like it does more for the environment, and I was like started giggling like a little child.
Environmental puzzles.
I know you said environmental puzzles, but in my
said.
head I just heard it's better for the environment.
Well, it is better for the environment than guns.
Like I swear this game's set in like
gunpowder.
medieval Europe, but I don't think they're caring about that shit right now.
No, they do not. Aesthetically, this game is the most the Middle Ages were disgusting video game I've ever played in my life. Like so many times you're like wading through corpse water or like yeah, straight up. Like you're just walking over dead bodies. I played with headphones so I could hear like the flies that are buzzing around. I would say this about the first game too. Don't play it if you're afraid of rats, because there's hordes of them constantly, and they're even worse in this game.
Oh, good.
Oh, the haptic voodoo on the PS5 controller. When you
we're professionals, by the way. We've talked about this console since launch.
Hey man, that's exactly how I described it in the Returnal review, and no one yelled at me. So it's just how I'm going to keep talking.
I don't think I was paying attention.
I definitely should have heard that because I edited that one, so I should have heard it, but I didn't.
I definitely said it because that's just
how
I
believe you.
But yeah, that accentuates the whole rats are around you thing. Like it simulates the pitter patter of their feet very well.
The little toesies.
Dude, it's funny. I live in an old house and I'm pretty sure there are creatures in the walls. So playing this game was very fun when I had the lights off, because sometimes I'd like take my earphone out and be like, is that one real? But yeah.
Oh, dear.
I don't know. Sometimes it sounds a lot like something's just gonna burst through the wall, very angry with me, or sometimes I feel like something's gonna jump out of the hole that's back there. But yeah, gameplay wise, it manages to improve on everything that the first game did pretty solidly. I like that they just doubled down on making the stealth puzzles better, because going off the trailers, it looked like they were just gonna veer it more into a standard action adventure kind of game, which there are segments where you're forced into combat, and those kind of conflict with the way that the game plays, because Amisha still dies in like 2 hits all the time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of at odds with itself there, but I still didn't think that those were too bad. Aside from that, because like she dies in 2 hits, but you also can usually kill people relatively easy as well when it's those particular instances. And the story in this game is super good. I liked it a lot. It's
So I think you like it. I think Kyle, I think he likes it. I think he likes the video game.
Big recommend.
Do you need knowledge of the first one to play this one?
It contextualizes things better. Like, I would say that this game makes the first one worth playing, but you don't have to.
I know for a fact this new one is on Game Pass, so if you have Game Pass, then congratulations, go and play it. I was going to
Go and
play it, but then I realized the first one was on Game Pass. I was like, I'll play the first one, and then the first
my
one went
God.
off Game Pass before I had a chance to, and now I feel fucked. So it was like one of those things.
If you don't want to play the first one, I'm sure there's also a story summary video, the typical
I can't
everything
do
you need to
that.
know
I
before.
can't
Yeah,
do
dude,
that.
just watch a long play
No, I couldn't do
on
that.
2x speed.
No. That's criminal. Not allowed. But no.
Oh, the soundtrack in this game is also excellent. Also deserves its nom for that. There's this one song in particular from it called "No Turning Back," where like midway through it just starts sounding like an apocalyptica song, and it's amazing. It goes
Nice.
real crazy on like the violin or cello or whatever string instrument it is. Another very good. It's like a rat chewing through a rope.
No, that's how you've sold me on that one now, and that sounds like a delight. I can't wait to have a listen to that. Fall asleep to
It
that
goes
one,
very
Cam.
well with the theming of the game, Ethan.
I don't care. That sounds horrible. Like that sounds like the worst kind of ASMR. If I'm honest with you, like that does not sound good. No, thank you.
Coward.
Yeah, true, very true. But hey, there you go. If you want to, go check it out. I'm sure it's grand because Jeff Keighley told me it was because he nominated it for Game of the Year. Because we all know Jeff does those himself.
Absolutely. He's Mr. Game of the Year.
He is Mr. Game of the Year. Well, okay. And with that, what's next? What? Oh, my shit.
It's your turn. What have you been doing,
It
Ethan?
exists.
Bro,
Is
I've
what
had a
it's in
shit
the
week, bro. I've had a shit week. Can we be real here? I've done fuck all. It's been a shit week. I don't know. I'll just rip the bandage off, and then we'll move on and not dwell on it being a sad thing. My dog died this week, so let's just put that
Aw.
on the table. My dog died this
Aw.
week. He had to be put down on Friday, yesterday. That's why I said can't do the podcast yesterday, if you want to know. And it just sucks because like I've had pets all my life, but they've always gone in like, something's happened or they've like it's like an emergency situation, they've had to be put down like there on the spot, right? It's never been one of those things where I'm told on a Monday and it's like 5 days and you just got to kind of sit with that for like 5 whole days. It's not a fun experience. Wouldn't recommend it. So I've not really done much. But I will tell you a little story, because it's an interesting one and it's really sad and it's really nerdy, but I think it's fun. So, what year are we? 2022? About 8 years ago, when my granddad passed away, I didn't know how to react to it because my emotions aren't very good. So what I did was I locked myself in my room and I played the Lego Movie video game for about 5 hours by myself and got the platinum trophy for it. So on my day my granddad died, I have the platinum trophy for the Lego Movie video game. Very random, but I'll always remember it because whenever I look at that game, I'm like, that's what I did. Very funny. So instead of sitting through 100 hours of bullshit Persona to get a 150th arbitrary trophy, I decided to pop my 150th with God of War Ragnarok because of the first scene that we talked about, Hunter. I thought it was kind of fitting. So my 150th platinum trophy is on that day and it's God of War Ragnarok. So there's a cool thing that I did. And based on that little mini story, it's kind of cool. So I like it. And it beats just having Persona again on the fucking list. So there you go. That's one thing I did. 2, I wanted to cheer myself up. So I wanted to play something to do with Christmas to get myself in the Christmas spirit. Turns out there's not many fucking Christmas games. What's with that? There's like none. Like no Christmas games.
2.
Fuck that game.
There's an in-browser fan game called Merry Gear Solid that's about like it's like the old school Metal Gear Solid or Metal Gear games, but you're like Santa.
No, fair enough.
Like that.
Fair enough. Did not know that. But I was like,
Elf bowling.
I don't know. Yeah, Elf Bowling. There's like Bayonetta 2. There's like the Saints Row 4 DLC. That was a Christmas DLC they did. There's very few things that I could do. So I decided to boot with Miles Morales because I didn't remember Miles Morales. It's been 2 years since Miles Morales came out. 2 years?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to play Miles Morales again, you know? Praying Spider-Man 2's next year. Be nice to recap. I just love Miles as a character, and I loved that game. Why not play it again? It's festive. Put me in the Christmas spirit. I fucked up. I was like, I'm not going to use my disc, because discs are for peasants. I'll just download the version on PS Extra. I downloaded the PS4 version by accident and popped a trophy, so I'm playing the PS4 version of this bad boy this time around, baby.
Oh my god. Why are you like this?
Because I fucked up. So there's
Ugh.
that. So I'm playing through the PS4 version again. A couple of notes. One, the game's still fantastic. I love Miles Morales. It's a great fucking video game. Everyone should play it. It's brilliant.
Mhm.
Two, I
That
really
means you think of-
appreciate how Miles Morales appreciates your time. I really like that. It respects your time. It
A whole
doesn't
lot
have
more than the
6
original game
bajillion
did.
random bullshit things. It's like, here's 18 little artifacts to find, these little hidden treasures, these little time boxes. What do they call them? Fucking, oh my god, I'm losing them in my mind.
I don't
Time.
remember what they were.
I
Was
don't
it
know.
time
No,
capsules?
time capsule, thank you. I'm like, what's the time something? Time capsule, thank you. The time capsules, you know, you have the couple of little the Tinkerer little crates that you can unlock the tech from. There's like 20 of those. It's like very minute numbers of things. There's like 3 challenges of each type. There's 3 stuff. It's just very concise, and I really like that. It's really fun. 2, I got used to the 30 FPS pretty quickly. That's not an excuse to stop giving me 60 FPS, Sony. That's a fucking warning. I can get used to it, but I will not be happy. It's still fine. 3, they really fucking fooled everyone else, because I played that on PS5, and all of those things that we were talking about, like, you know, going in and out of internal building areas without load screens that they were showing off beforehand as if it was some great feature. That's on the PS4 version, so we all got bamboozled on that one, didn't we, boys? Let's get real. So
That's hilarious because
Go
I
back to
played,
that-
I played it on the PS4 and I just wasn't thinking about that.
Same.
nice, that's fun. So yeah, go back to that episode where I probably mentioned something along those lines, and I got fucking played. That's epic. So that's 3. And then 4, it's just like, man, I love the Insomniac Spider-Man games. They're just really well made. It's just like swinging through those cities. They're just so much fun, to the point where I was looking at next year's games, and I was like, there's a couple of games that are like on my most anticipated games next year. You know, obviously Tears of the Kingdom's on there. Obviously, for better or for worse, Starfield will be on there, because whether it's garbage or the next greatest RPG ever made, I'll be there day one to bully the shit out of it. Whether it's like... It's true, I'll be there. Whether it's
I like the
Xenoblade-
idea that regardless of which one it is, you're gonna bully it too.
Yes, yeah, of course I will. Of course I will. Because it's
Call
a
that
Bethesda game.
consistency, Hunter.
It'll be a 9 out. Even if it is the greatest RPG ever made, I'll still find a way for there to be an awkward voice line or some shitty fucking glitch that happens, and I'll laugh at, like I always do. Skyrim. My favorite thing about Skyrim is everyone always applauds it and appraises it, and my favorite thing to do is every shopkeeper, everything in that game, every person that you talk to that you exchange and trade stuff with, there's a chest that has their inventory underneath them at all times, so you can just go out of bounds and go into their chest and just nick all their stuff out of their shop and just have it and walk away. I love doing shit like that. Skyrim's great. I love Bethesda. But you know, there's loads of games that are coming out next year. You know, Hogwarts Legacy, fuck J.K. Rowling, you know, for Space and Final Fantasy 16 and stuff like that. There's a load of great games that I'm really looking forward to, but playing this again has just made me really look forward and really hope Spider-Man 2's out next year, because, man, the Spider-Man games from Insomniac are just insane how high quality they are. And especially, you know, I loved playing Horizon and I loved playing God of War, but those stories are really engaging. But there's nothing more fun than fucking swinging around as Spider-Man and literally flipping people in the face, kicking them in the face, you know, launching them off of rooftops. It's just, there's so much fun to be had with those games that I just love them. They're great fun. So highly recommend if you haven't played it. And it's a great Christmas game. Great Christmas game.
Yeah.
Christmas is everywhere in that game.
It is.
And then I guess I'll wrap up my section. The Last of Us TV show trailer came out today, as of recording. So I thought we should mention that, because here's my third takeaway, is that looks better than it had any right for it to be, and I'm kind of scared now, because I'm like, this could be big, but I feel like now it's going to be a disappointment if they fuck it up. You know what I mean? Because it's like I
Uh,
watched the trailer and Pedro Pascal. I love Pedro Pascal anyway. Like I have a man
he's
crush on
so
Pedro
good.
Pascal. He's like incredible in everything that he fucking touches. Like he made me like Star Wars. That's how good Pedro Pascal is. I love him. And he was a perfect casting for Joel. He absolutely is. And then Bella Ramsey, who's playing Ellie, after seeing her in this trailer, I'm like, oh, she fits Ellie to a T. There's this wonderful little exchange between Joel, Tess, and Ellie, where Joel's like, because she's talking about how she's been bitten, and Joel's like, if I see her twitch or shake at one point, and she just starts pretending to be a clicker in the background, and Tess is like, stop it. It's just like instantly, I'm like, that's Ellie instantly.
That's
I'm like,
funny.
sold,
Yeah.
absolutely sold instantly. And it's just seeing this trailer, I'm like, are we on the verge of like good video game adaptations? And I'm not talking like Sonic and stuff like and Mario, which should be fucking easy to translate to a film because they're icons, right? I'm like, are we finally going to get something that's actually kind of sophisticated, that's a good adaptation? And I'm really hoping that it is because it looks fantastic. Also, the clickers look scary as shit. They really do. Like they show a bloater at the end of it, and I'm like, oh god, I did not want to see what a bloater looked like kind of semi more realistic than they usually are. Creepy as fuck. But no,
Yeah.
it looks good, and I'm going to be very disappointed when it's shit. Also, I saw Troy and fucking Ashley are in the trailer, so you can see them.
Oh,
They are in
nice.
there. And it looks to me like Troy is playing the right hand man of David from the looks of it. Which is an interesting role. I was hoping he was just going to straight up play David because David hadn't been like the casting hadn't been made yet. I would have thought that would have been creepy as
That would've
fuck.
been funny.
For Cal, you haven't played it, but David's like one of the creepiest fucking antagonists in a video game that you'll ever probably meet. He's really fucking sinister, and I was like, I really was hoping Nolan North plays him in The Last of Us. But
It
I
would
was
have been a
hoping
really funny
Troy was
meta
playing
joke
him,
to
but it
cast
looks like he's just playing
Troy
his
as
He
David
looks like
because
yeah.
he stole Nolan's role.
That would have been funny, to be honest. But it looks like he's just playing his right hand man. And I feel like they show the only image you see of Ashley is you see a quick clip of her with a baby, like a newborn baby. And I feel like what everybody thought was true of her playing Abby fucking hell, Allie's mom is
Oh no.
what she's playing. Which is like I think we all thought that was who she would play. As soon as they said that she was playing a new role, I was like, bet you Ashley Johnson's playing Allie's mom, and it looks like that's what she's doing. But it looks really solid, and I know it's a HBO show, so it's probably going to be solid. But I'm not used to seeing this. I'm used to seeing fucking Tom Holland as Nathan Drake and going cringe, you burn it. Why is that a thing? Who thought Mark Wahlberg could be subtlety? No one thought that. Fingers crossed, man. Who knows? It's just PlayStation's weird, right? It's in a weird spot where they're trying to make fucking TV shows and movies out of literally everything. And it's like,
Yeah.
I feel like this show is the one that will work, and now they're just
And the
doing
rest of them are
everything.
gonna be like, eh.
Yeah, and I feel like they're gonna be like, we want The Last of Us for everything, and I'm like, I don't know why, guys, but I really don't think you're gonna get a Last of Us out of Twisted Metal. I just don't think it's gonna happen. Even if Anthony Mackie is in it, I still feel like it's not gonna happen. You know, like it's just. I like
Yeah.
Twisted Metal, but it just seems like a stupid idea to make a TV show about it. I still think Horizon's a terrible idea too.
You see, the thing, Twisted Metal, I think, could be its own. I feel like it could be, I don't know, an animated mini series or something.
That would be the
work for
perfect.
it.
You know how like Cyberpunk and Arcane have been doing animes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Getting like Trigger or like an anime studio to make like a Twisted Metal thing or something along those lines would be great. It's like how we've said they should really just get a studio to make like an actual Saturday morning Sly Cooper show and get that
Yeah.
made for like Cartoon Network or whatever. That'd be a great use of IP because they're
It's like-
already in there in the game. They already do the comic book panels in the game. It'd be the next step to make that happen. It's
because,
kind of
like,
bizarre.
Twisted Metal was at its best when it was being like kind of black comedy and
Yeah.
you know, violent. And I feel like, you know, live action you'll probably be able to be some level of violent, but it'll probably come off as, you know, lame. The same way a lot of live action shows that rely heavily on violence for just existence become lame. Like, you know, The Walking Dead. or Sons of Anarchy or any movie
It's just,
or any
yeah, it's
show
just,
like that.
it's one of those weird things where I don't know, because it's like you know, you got this Horizon thing coming up. They're probably gonna do God of War at some point,
Ugh.
and I don't want that.
Mm.
That's the one that I don't want, because I'm like, understandable. The Last of Us, you're starting from the beginning. God of War, if they do a God of War TV show or a movie or whatever, they, you know, for a fact they're gonna do the Norse shit. So they're just gonna. It doesn't even make sense from a random Greek god just fucking has a walkabout to Norse mythology. Like, you're like gonna cut out all of that shit.
I don't understand how you're gonna convey that to an audience that doesn't know the games.
Exactly. And I mean, yeah, I would hope to God that Christopher Judge just keeps the role if they ever do a live action thing, because he is Kratos. But, you know, you'll lose Sonny because he's already like fucking 17 now. Like, you've lost that. Do you have to get a new kid in? Don't.
Yeah.
Just don't. It just baffles me, man. It's like, why does everybody why is everyone trying to get into movies and TV? I just don't get it. It's like the Halo. Does anyone remember the Halo Xbox, like what was it, Paramount Plus show
Oh yeah.
that came out
Yeah,
this
that
year that everyone
happened.
forgot about
That
because it was
this
shit?
year?
Yeah, it was this year. Everyone just
Hmm.
forgets about them. They're just so shit. Like the Uncharted movie, everybody's already forgotten about that. The only reason people remember it is because it's up for fucking nomination at the Game of the Year Awards. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, fucking Game Awards. Best adaptation. Awful. Yeah, it was. Also, that
think it
just
was up
makes me
there by
laugh.
default.
Halo was this year. It was March this year. Didn't get a nomination for that bullshit category at the Game Awards. Literally. Imagine being so bad you didn't get a nomination and Uncharted did. Imagine. Absolutely awful. But no, if you haven't, go and check out that Last of Us trailer, because it is surprisingly very good. They also, at first, I thought they were going to do the cringe thing, because they start playing Take On Me, like they use that as the kind of riff, and I was like, oh god, please don't do the cringy thing where you're just going to stick a pop song into it. But they don't. It's very subtle, and I'm like, it's kind of cringe, but it's subtle enough, they'll ignore it. And also, at least it was Take On Me, which is in The Last of Us Part 2. I'll allow them that, because they at least
Yeah.
chose a song that's in universe. So I'll let it slide, but not really. Will I watch it? Probably not. Let's be real. I played it.
Yeah.
I'll watch it when it
That's
comes
where I
out.
am. Like, I'm sure it'll be good.
I'm not
I
paying
don't
for
know if I'll watch
HBO.
it.
I'm not paying for HBO
I
to
have
watch
access
it.
to HBO, and I still might not, just because I don't know,
I'll
I'm
wait for it
lazy
to come out
about
on
that.
Blu-ray or whatever, and maybe buy it. I don't know. If it's good, if it's really good. But I don't know. Like, I've already played it, man. I've already played it.
Yeah.
The only things I'm interested in is like the Ashley Johnson stuff and seeing Troy Baker. Is that really? I'm like a Marvel fan going to these fucking movies looking for the Easter eggs. Where I'm just like, where's Troy and Ashley? But no, we'll have to see. Other than that, I can't really think of anything else to talk about. Are we good? It's a bit of a short
I
one
think
this
so.
week, but I feel like we make up
Well,
for it with last
week
week's
was 2.5
behemoth.
hours.
Yeah.
So
And there's always the Mario movie trailer if we
Oh, did you want to talk
care.
about that? We can talk
I
about
mean,
that.
do you
now.
want to end the episode?
No, we can talk about the Mario movie trailer real quick. What did you think of the Mario movie trailer? I thought that film looks decent. It looks good.
Yeah. Honestly, in
Yeah.
the same boat.
I'll watch it.
Same opinion as seeing it off of the other one. It looks like it'll be pretty solid.
Yeah. I love the idea of having Luigi be the damsel in distress. I think that's a really funny kind of take on it. Being trapped with
Seems very in
Bowser.
line
I
with
like that quite a
Luigi's
bit.
role these
Yeah.
past few years.
I love how Twitter got mad at Peach being kind of the experienced one, and I'm like, what are you fucking expecting here? Like, I'm like, God, I hate Twitter sometimes. Why isn't it dead yet, Elon? You promised me Twitter's death. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, people with these goofy takes about Mario being bad at what he's doing. I don't
Of
mean
course,
Chris
he's a
Pratt
plumber from
being
Brooklyn. Of course, he's shit at the start.
I don't mean Chris Pratt's mediocre voice. I mean Mario being bad in universe makes a lot of sense. It's the same curve. It's like trying to reflect the same curve that hypothetically you went on when so many people played a video game for the first time.
I also like Chris Pratt. Yeah, is Chris Pratt the weakest link of this thing? Yes, 100%.
Yes.
But also, I don't
But
think
also,
it's
it
that
seems like
bad.
it's not going to matter that much.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to,
because
I don't think
everyone
people
else
give a shit.
Yeah.
I think that Chris Pratt is passable enough that it's
I
like,
mean,
you know,
you could make the argument that Mario is like the weakest link in his own universe
exactly.
in the games too.
Proof.
So,
And I think
um,
the rest of the casting, like, you know, is fantastic. The rest of the casting is genuinely really good. Like, you know, Charlie Day is great for fucking pick for Luigi, like that. Good shit. Jack Black as Bowser is honestly fantastic.
Perfect.
Anya Taylor-Joy, from the bits that I've heard, she's fine as Peach. People said her voice was too low. I'm like, fucking hell, are we really doing this?
do you really want her to talk like, I don't know,
Yeah,
Minnie
like,
Mouse for
yeah,
an
like,
entire
it's
movie? Get out of
fine,
here.
like-
If I had to listen to the way that Peach actually talks for more than 2 minutes, I would want a lobotomy.
Yeah, like
Jesus,
that's
Hunter.
a bit high. But okay, I don't know if I'm in on that much, but you know what. But you know, anyway, trying to move
Reel
on.
it back, my dude. Do you have to talk about something?
No. I was just being
Okay.
I don't even know if that
hyperbolic.
one's. I don't even know if that one's suitable for a bumper. I don't even know. If, like,
It's too extreme.
we lost him, ladies and gentlemen. We
He's
lost him.
fucking losing it.
Anyway, Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong and Keegan-Michael Key as Toad is also pretty great as well. I like all the casting.
Michael
except
Key has
for...
one toad, and then the rest of the toads
He's Captain Toad,
are
basically.
there. Yeah, pretty
Which
much.
I like. It's fun. I'm not a huge fan of Donkey Kong's new design, but you know, it's only for a
There's
movie.
something weird
I'll,
about
It's
his
hitting like an
face,
uncanny
man.
valley.
It's the
I don't
face.
like
It's
it.
the face, bro. It's the face.
But
But
it's
you know,
okay because Kitty Kong's in this movie.
yeah,
What?
true. And we still don't know who Charles Martinet is playing. The best guess I've seen so far is on one of the posters. The Super Mario Bros is like the name of their company in Brooklyn. They're like plumbing company. And it's got like a 2D sprite. It's got this sprite work of like the Mario, like the 2D Mario. So people are suggesting that maybe he's the voice of Mario in the
ad?
ads
That'd be
for
cool.
their company in Brooklyn. That
Ah.
might be what he's doing. Who knows? That's the best guess I have so far. He might just show up as fucking random, but he might be Kiddy Kong.
Worth.
He might be Kiddy Kong, and I feel like that's the correct answer. Also,
I would love to
Waluigi.
see him do a
of-
Funky Kong voice.
of all the things to bring back, fucking Kiddy Kong.
Yeah, Kitty
When
Kong
I saw
should've
Kiddy
died
Kong, I was like,
instead.
this movie is in the right and wrong hands simultaneously, because Brightside, they dug deep enough to bring Kiddy Kong back, but also they dug deep enough to bring Kiddy Kong back. So, you know.
Sorry,
I was
Sam.
honestly mildly surprised to see the Donkey Kong's world getting represented more than just him.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Cranky
nice.
Kong? And then even Funky later, I was like, oh.
You see,
well,
I was
after that,
also...
we got like the Mario Kart.
I was
Rainbow Road
surprised,
thing,
but then I'm
so it
like,
was
it makes so much sense though, because of in Universal Studios, the Super Nintendo world split into two sections, and it's the Mario section, and then next door is Donkey Kong Country. So I'm like, it makes sense to me
is
that
that
the
just what they
movies,
call it? That's great.
yeah, Donkey Kong Country and like Mario, it's like it's Mushroom
it's
Kingdom and then Donkey
Super
Kong
Mario
Country next
World
door.
and Donkey
Yeah.
Kong Country.
Nice.
Which I'm looking forward to that. But like that's when I can't wait to go, because they've apparently the roller coaster that they're doing for the Donkey Kong Country is like the minecart levels in Donkey Kong Country. But what they're doing is they've made this track system, which I think is genius, where you're sitting in the minecart and it's attached to like an arm on the side, and the real track is underneath on a separate track. So on your track it looks like you're jumping over like gaps and stuff in the track and but there's actually a track underneath that's the one that's the actual track. So it's really cool. So you'll look like you're actually doing the jumps from the games and stuff like that,
that's
jumping
cool.
over waterfalls
so
and
cool.
stuff. It's really cool. But that's why I assume they're focusing on it. It's just also, you know, small references like that, like the assault course that Peach is putting Mario through is like Mario
Yeah.
Maker in the way that it's built, and you know, and the Mario versus Donkey Kong fight is very obviously referencing Smash Bros. With the fact that they're on a 2D plane. It's just like a straight
Yeah.
fucking line that they're fighting on. You know, stuff like that. It's like, I feel like it's in good hands. I genuinely think it's going to be, at least for a kids movie, I think it's going to be decent. We'll have to go and watch it. And then we'll do it. Is the Mario movie overrated episode? The first video game episode of the first video game movie adaptation of the podcast. Let's go. It's gonna be great. I think we get it earlier though than you. I think we get it on like March 30th.
Because they're doing like weird regional releases. Why do movies do this?
I don't know. We got Avengers Endgame like 3 days before everybody else, and then America was scared because they thought we were all gonna spoil it, and we did. So it was good fun, you know.
And we did.
It's all fun, yeah. I didn't, but like everyone was instantly like, you know, it was like the Harry Potter spoilers. They were like Dumbledore dies, but everyone was just screaming Iron Man's dead in the comments. It's great fun. And if you just got spoiled from Avengers Endgame, then fuck you. It's been 3 years. Thank you. It's been 3.5 years. How would you not know that? It's like biggest film ever made. God. Anyway. It's all
Honestly, if that's somehow a spoiler to you, you probably don't know that much about the Marvel movies, and you're better off for it.
And let's be real here. If you did, I believe that our audience that listens to an hour and 20 minutes of this podcast has seen a Marvel movie. You know what I mean? I feel like they are similar enough audiences that if they've listened to this, they've probably seen that. I don't. But hey, if not, send us an email and I'll personally apologize to you. But hey. There you go. Anyway, and I guess with that, that's our show. We're done here. I need to change this timestamp because, I changed the wrong timestamp because I thought that this was going to end way earlier than it did. So there we go. As always, I guess, our links are on screen right now. You can go and follow us on Twitter if you want to keep up to date with everything that we do outside of the podcast. Obviously, next week, we've got the Game Awards coming up. We're not doing a reaction video to it, but if anything important does happen, we'll put our reactions up, and then there'll be an episode next week talking about it anyway, so you'll get our feedback on whether it was good or terrible. Then it'll be all fun. It'll be fun. Jack might join us. There's like a 1 in 8 chance of it happening. Yeah. You say 50-50, I'm still... We clowned on him last time, but he watched the episode, so fuck, I guess we took the L there, but, you know... we'll see if he shows up.
I still don't believe him.
Yeah. I mean, you know, there's only one way to find out if he does show up, Kyle. And do you know when that is? That is by following us on Twitter at HotGamersOnly for notifications. Or go to youtube.com/HotGamersOnly where you can see his stupid face. If not, go to Podcast Services. Search for HotGamersOnly where you can find us on places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you name it. We're honest. Go over there. Give us a follow. We appreciate you. All audio listeners. We appreciate you. We know... I was talking about beforehand. We've got access to video versions of podcasts on Spotify. We're not doing it yet. We will in the future, but we have access to that, and that's thanks to you. Oh, I didn't mention that stat. Did I not mention that stat? I don't think I mentioned it. We're in the top 20% of podcasts on Spotify, so thank you for that. Did not mention that.
Oh,
higher than I thought.
Yeah, we're in the top 20% of podcasts, which just means, think about how many people don't listen to, think of all those podcasts that don't get any listens. That's really sad. So thank you, 5 people. No, I'm kidding. There's more than 5 of you. But it was crazy. I can't believe I forgot to mention that one. It was the big one. I forgot. Anyway, yeah, top 20% of podcasts on Spotify. That's awesome. Thank you. And if you can keep supporting us in the future, that'd be pretty fab as well. But anyway, with that, I think we're done. That's our show. Thank you ever so much for listening and watching this week. We'll be back same time, same place next week for more. But yeah, until then, have an awesome week. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Toodaloo.